Hello, everybody, and happy Monday. Nick Marro here with DFS Jayhawk, as always, to help you break down tonight's NBA DFS main slates on both DraftKings and FanDuel. We are here with Occupy Fantasy. We got a massive slate tonight, Jayhawk. What are your initial thoughts on this one?
Yeah, man, crazy slate. NBA deadline coming up here. Crazy trades going on. But yeah, excited to break this down. Definitely a lot to talk about here.
Yeah, man, I was kind of hoping we'd have some time to talk about these trades, but we really don't. But yeah, shouts out everyone who's already here. We got Jerry, Gordon, J Val as the value. What do we do now? Yeah, Gordon just got a Q tag too. We'll definitely get to those two teams. He's saying, "What's up? Are you guys getting on the Ryan Rollins train?" I think we both are for sure, Jose. Again, another very important game we'll definitely get to. Unicorn in here saying good evening all on Brogdon, 4,600 on FanDuel. Yeah, if he's back and Pool's out, we're probably going to have to talk about him a little bit. But yeah, I'm pulling up the 5:30 injury report now. We're going to do our best to kind of touch on everything here. We'll go game by game. The games where there's not a lot of news, we'll just kind of blast through, for lack of a better verb there. But let's get right into it, man. First game on the slate, 237.5 point total. We have the Atlanta Hawks taking on the Detroit Pistons. This game does lock at 7 Eastern. Yeah, for the Hawks, no Capella, no Johnson. Trae Young is available. No Cody Zeller. Bogdan on the trade block is not available either. So pretty thin for Atlanta here. They do have Trae available. He's been pretty inconsistent. I think he's fine as a tournament play. Tyson Daniels seen a nice boost lately with some of these guys out. I don't mind getting to him either. But again, first game on the slate, I don't know that we want to lock up too much here. I will say Okongwu is pretty interesting to me, especially with Capella out. He plays much better with Trae in the lineup, and he does have Trae available tonight. That's probably my favorite Hawk here. Not much else I'm too interested in. I could see Barlow starting, but again, I don't know that I want to use up too many spots in this first one. How about you, Jayhawk?
Yep, pretty much aligned here. I like Okongwu. 6,600, pretty good matchup here. No Capella, so I like that call a lot. And then I think Trey is fine, 9,700, but kind of a constant theme here is we have the money to go all the way up top up positions today. So probably would just be Trey in tournaments as like a low on play.
Yeah, I don't want to spend too much time on Atlanta. I'm right there with you, man. Definitely do think Okongwu is probably one play I do get a decent amount of. On the Detroit side of things, no Jaden Ivey still. Other than that, it's really just G Leaguers we're worried about. So we're not worried about them. Yeah, I mean, Jalen Duren, same matchup. He's been really solid lately. Don't mind him as a center play. I mean, Cade is Cade. Definitely feel better about him than I do Trey. The field is getting to him a decent amount, though. Other than that, I mean, you could maybe mix in a Malik Beasley, even coming off the bench. Nothing too dire here, in my opinion, though. I do like Cade. I do like Duren. Tobias Harris is hot, but I'm fine just avoiding that one for now. Are you getting to any of these Pistons?
Yeah, so right there with you. Love Cade today. Him and SGA for me are kind of like 1A, 1B. Fantastic matchup for Cade, 238 total. So I'll probably be going right back to Cade here at this ownership. And then, yep, love Duran once again. 6,400. Totally fine running the back here with Duran as well. So Cade and Duran, love. And then Beasley, I don't know what I want to do with projected to be, sub 10%. It's a good matchup off the bench, but I definitely prefer Cade and Duran for sure.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. And yeah, Beasley works is kind of that last piece in. Definitely a good matchup for all these guys going to be paced up against Atlanta. Their defense hadn't been great, and with some of these guys out, they're even worse right now. So really no worries as far as that goes. I am just going to check the main slate boxes here to make sure we're not getting any players that aren't involved. Again, the FanDuel slate has the 10 o'clock games. The DK's slate does not. So we're going to do our best to get through all of them. But again, if you're on DK, don't worry about 10 o'clock necessarily. Another 7 o'clock game, though. And we did get some questions already about this one. Wizards and the Hornets. So we did just get word that Poole, or no, he's still questionable. No word on Poole yet. So Sar's out, Bay's out, Baldwin's out, Bagley's out, and Butler is back down with the G League, unfortunately. Yeah, I've been a fan of Butler. Not that you can really be a fan of anything on this Wizards team right now, but this is the rare matchup they should be somewhat competitive in. Joe Val continues to look great in the model. He's getting some love here. He's been burning us every single time he's popular, though. Again, with Sar out, he does look good on paper, but the minutes are super inconsistent for him. Jordan Poole, questionable. If he's in, I think at the price, he's someone you can definitely mix in with some confidence. If he's out, I'll probably get to some Kuzma. And then we did get a question about Brogdon. I think first came back off the injury. It's kind of tough for me to want to play him here. even if Poole's out. At the same time, he is a good point per minute producer, but we have him for 23 minutes. I think that's pretty accurate, honestly, regardless of who's available. So probably won't get to Brogdon. I don't mind Kuzma, would prefer Poole to be out to get to him. I will play some Poole, but honestly, man, I'm kind of comfortable getting away from Joe Val, especially if he's going to be popular. There's just enough good centers on this slate that I don't think it's going to kill me. Maybe it does, but I don't know, man. He's just been so inconsistent, especially with the minutes. He played 30 against Minnesota, only finished with 30 fantasy points. I don't know, man. This team's terrible. Joe Val has to be part of that statement. Are you getting to any Wizards tonight?
Yeah, so starting with Joval here, I will say this kind of is finally a good matchup for him. The one
Yeah.
thing is just the minutes. You mentioned it, has not been playing good minutes. So I think he's fine at his ownership. I'm not taking like a huge stand there. I think he's fine. I'm not going to go crazy with it. And then Jordan Poole, if he plays, I think he's fine. But yeah, someone mentioned Brogdon on FanDuel 4600. Definitely would look pretty good if Poole missed there. But for me, like as of right now, it's just like Joe Val, and I'll probably just try to match the field there.
Yeah, man. I mean, it could burn me. Like I said, there's a lot of good centers tonight, and I'm only playing like five or so single entry lineups, so it's one of the few stands I'm taking. Again, I'm kind of hoping we get more news in these late games, but on paper, he's a great play. The model absolutely loves him. I don't want to talk anyone off. I'm just want to be as transparent as possible when we talk about what we're playing. On the Charlotte side of things, a lot of injury news over there still as well. No LaMelo Ball, Trey Mann, Cody Martin, Micic is questionable. Miller is out. Kogi is out. Salulin's doubtful, and Grant Williams obviously still out as well. So pretty much the only regulars they have here are going to be Bridges and Williams. The price on Bridges is getting kind of ridiculous. At the same time, I do think on FanDuel, if you're playing over there, he's probably a little bit too cheap for his role right now. Mark Williams, one of those great centers I'm describing. Yes, the price is up, but he's been showing us he has 50-point upside. I don't mind getting to him here. Other than that, I don't really feel great about anything. Micic and Nick Smith included, they've just been kind of disappointing, even with the extended minutes. But I do like Williams on both sides. I do like Bridges more so over on FanDuel. Are you getting to any of Charlotte here?
Yeah, so I think you mentioned it. I think both Bridges and Williams both look great. Obviously, probably better plays on FanDuel at their prices, but yeah, great matchup for both those guys. I'm getting slightly more Williams on DraftKings than I am Bridges,
Mhm.
but I think they're both in great spots for tournaments. And then, dude, I wanted to hear your take here on Nick Smith. I have not got this man right since he was super cheap, projected to be, someone owned. Do you like him tonight, or what's your take there?
I mean, if he was cheaper, I think I would. I know he finally had a good game against Denver 2 days ago. Excuse me, but yeah, I've been playing him every single day that ball's out, and it seems more often than not he's just not getting there. Again, I do love the matchup for both these teams. Like it looks soft on paper, but you look at the total, only 215. It's a lot lower than some of these other games. I was kind of surprised when you think about it. Just neither team has a great offensive ability right now, so it makes sense. I mean, Smith is fine as like a last piece in, but I do think they're better plays in that range, especially if we get some of the news to break later that we're hoping.
Yeah,
Um,
he's been super difficult, man. 216
yeah,
total, definitely low.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of surprising, but when you think about who's on the floor, I guess not. But yeah, let's move into the 7:30 window now. There's only one game at 7:30. Another game with not the highest total. We get the Rockets here taking on the Knicks. Houston side of things pretty interesting. No Fred Van Fleet. Jabari Smith is going to be out as well. Sengun is listed as questionable, and his backup, Jock Landell, is listed as doubtful. So actually, Adams is technically the backup. If Sengun were to be out again, we could see Adams start. He's actually been super productive in those opportunities, playing around 23 to 26 minutes, finishing close to 30 fantasy points the last two games. He actually got the nod in. So if Sengun is out, I do think Adams is someone we're probably taking a good look at, especially knowing that Landell's doubtful behind him, probably secure some minutes here against a pretty good and big Knicks front court. Obviously, not the best matchup on paper, but again, with Van Fleet out, I think Green and Thompson are both solid plays everywhere. Thompson a little bit disappointing lately, but the ownership's way down now. So I know on paper we can't love the matchup, but both him and Green do look really good to me. And then if Sangoon is out, I'm probably going to get to some Adams as well. Those are the three Rockets for me tonight. How about you, Jayhawk?
Yep. So love the Adams call. Something I was kind of shocked at least I think it was last slate, maybe two slates ago, is Sengun was out and Adams didn't really pick up much ownership. So if he's going to be low on once again, I think that's a great shout there, assuming or if Sengun sits. And then I hate to say it, but Eamon Thompson and Jalen Green, I like him. 3% owned, pretty good matchup, and Eamon's he's been great, man. So
Yeah.
if they're going to be super low-owned, I don't hate mixing them in. So yeah, pretty much aligned. I will mention maybe Tar Eason on either side if you want to take like a super deep shot. But I don't really love that, but I just wanted to mention him.
Yeah, Easton hasn't been hitting 30 minutes, but I do think he's probably the first guy off the bench here. If Jeff Green is going to start again. Again, I would trust Easton over Green or that's Jeff Green or Dylan Brooks, even though they're probably going to be starting. On the Knicks side of things, excuse me, taking a look at the injury report, OG's out, which is obviously significant. Hart is listed as probable. We know Tibbs, we know the Knicks. They're really not going to give extended minutes to anyone other than the guys that are already in the rotation. That could be a small bump for the likes of Bridges, Hart, Brunson, Towns here. Again, not the best matchup, but should be a competitive game. Again, we know where the minutes are going for the most part. Maybe someone like McBride or Precious gets a few extra. Not enough for me to really want to tout either as a value play, but I do think the starters here, mostly just Bridges, Hart, Brunson, Towns, look fine. No one's really standing out to me from that group. They're all fine tournament plays. Are you getting to any of the Knicks here?
Yeah, so the Knicks, you would think they'd project better here without OG, but they all just look, fine to me. I think if I had to pick one, it probably is Josh Hart actually, 7,700. Um, he's just been kind of, they're raw for their team the past couple of games, so I don't hate him here at 7,700. And then in terms of Brunson and Cat, I think they're both fine, but I just think we have safer spend ups in terms of studs here. So I think they're all they look fine to me. How about you?
Yeah, I'm with you. Honestly, if I were to pick one, it probably would be Hart. I mean, he's actually spiked a higher ceiling than the others, which is about, I don't know. Like, I did not expect that very often this season. But yeah, I like him. I think at his price, it's going to keep his ownership down. Find his tournament plays. And again, if you're a 150 max here, you're probably fine to mix in any of these guys that have actual upside. But yeah, let's move into the 8 o'clock window now. I will get the chat, guys. Again, we got to try to keep really quick pace today. We got the Kings taking on the Timberwolves. Just scrolling down here. So on the Kings side of things, nothing too significant other than that trade that just happened, right? So Fox is out. Zach Levine is in. We did get word that Levine will be available tonight, which is going to be interesting. I do think it still helps Monk that Fox is out of the picture. He's going to be kind of the true point guard now. It'll be interesting to see how the usage is going to be distributed between these starters. You'd have to think it maybe cuts into DeRozan and Sabonis a bit, but Fox was a very high usage player as well. So it probably doesn't change too much here. I don't even know that you could play Levine on either site. Probably wouldn't have much interest in him first game back here. Anyway, I don't mind Sabonis. I don't mind Monk. DeRozan does feel a little bit cheap. I'm fine coming in under the field on him, though. And if Keon Ellis were to start, maybe they want to kind of ease Zach into the lineup, then he is going to be appealing his value here. It's just probably not something we'll know until that lineup comes out. So definitely keep an eye on that. Keon Ellis off the bench doesn't really interest me at all. So how are you going to handle these Kings? Again, it sounds like Levine will be available even if we can't play him in DFS.
Yeah, well, first of all, shout out to the douche who mentioned DeMar DeRozan just cannot get rid of Zach Levine, man.
Yeah.
Keeps following him. Yeah, we can start with DeRozan here. Speaking of DeRozan, I think he's perfectly fine. I don't know how many minutes they said Levine may play, but I think he's fine. He's probably my favorite King here. And then in terms of Monk and Keon, I agree with you. I'm lower on Keon than the field is here. I think we probably have safer value. Tough matchup too. And then Malik Monk, I think he's fine as well. So Monk and DeRozan would probably be my two favorites. And then the rest of the team here, Keegan, Sabonis, they all look fine. I don't know. I think it's probably just mainly DeRozan and Monk for me.
Yeah, for those two, I'm with you. I do think Sabonis is good if you're going more balanced, like not getting up to a Jokic or SGA. But again, not a spot I'm really rushing to get to him. On the Minnesota side, though, we do have some significant injury news. Still no DiVincenzo. Julius Randle's going to be out. Nas Reed and Anthony Edwards are both questionable. So even before we get the Edwards and the Reed news, we're seeing a bit of a boost to a lot of these guys. In terms of value, I mean, Mike Conley looks really, really solid here. Never someone you could trust. entirely. Probably plays 30 minutes though. A little bit of extra usage for him could go a long way. Gobert, one of the centers that I like tonight. There's a ton in that 6K range. He's not top of the list for me, but he's definitely someone I want to get involved with, especially if Reed's out. If Reed's in, he's viable. The price is way up on him. I'm not rushing to get to him. Anthony Edwards, though, if he's in, looks excellent. If he's out, that's definitely going to be a big boost to Conley. And then maybe we see someone like Alexander Walker or Dillingham get the start, either of which would be appealing as value. McDaniels, another guy, super inconsistent, but at his price, he does have some upside. Minnesota, one of the trickier spots again, because we are waiting on some news. I think regardless, Conley and Gobert are pretty decent plays. But how are you going to handle the Timberwolves here?
Yeah, so I think you nailed it. Anthony Edwards, pretty clearly, probably my favorite play here. 9,500. It just, to me, it's how does he compare up to the Cades and the SGAs of the world? I think he looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good matchup. So I'll probably just try to match the field, but it's not like a nuke spot for me.
Mhm. Are you playing any Conley?
Um, man, you know my take on him, man. I think
He's
he's
tough,
fine.
dude. Yeah.
I'm not getting any today, but I guess he's fine. And then Nas Reed, man, this guy, fake injuries, I swear. Are you getting to him today? 4% owned.
Not a 6K plus. I love Nas Reed. I've always been a huge fan. Coming out of LSU, even before he got drafted, or he didn't get drafted, but yeah, love this kid. Just paying 6K plus for him, even with Randall out, doesn't feel great right now. Maybe he'll kind of settle into that role, but for now, I'm fine just kind of waiting and seeing, which it seems like the field is doing as well.
Yep, agreed.
Cool. All right, guys. I'll try to get to some of chat here again. I don't know if I can pull up every comment on the channel like I like to with so many games, but yeah, who would you consider to be the most cheap value or favorite cheap value? Yeah, Rollins is definitely one of them, Jose. I think Kennard, if Morant's out's another. Any super cheap value jumping out to you right now, Jayhawk? I can take a search here real
Uh,
quick.
One of the guys we talked about in Discord pre-stream, AJ Green,
Mhm.
3,300, 3,800 on FanDuel. No Dame, no Giannis. He's going to be out there chucking. So AJ Green, probably another value I like.
Nice, dude. Yeah, I love that shout. Totally with you on that one. Assuming he does start. Power Sling value explosion, still more coming. Yeah. Let's line up tonight. Yeah, we're going to see very high scores. Tough night to take anything down. Make sure you like every play in your lineup. That's what I'll say. Ben Jizzy saying good afternoon. Give us the must play chalk. We will towards the end, Jose. We're going to try to do a dummy build if we have time. If not, we'll definitely go over highest owned. Um, yeah, it's tough to figure out the best cheap value. We do like Rollins. We'll talk a lot about Milwaukee when we get there. That's a great spot. And yeah, with Aaron Gordon questionable, Gordon was going to be one of our favorite value plays, but we're going to see a boost of those other starters, especially Christian Brown. I know Jayhawk's a big fan of. And yeah, just some nice conversations going on in here. I got to scroll down, guys. Again, 10 games today. I wish FanDuel cut off the late games. Not crazy about Precious Unicorn. How about you, Jayhawk? How you handling Precious here?
Yeah, I was kind of forgot to touch on him. He was projected to be, or is projected to be sub 15% on FanDuel. I don't really understand it. I kind of wanted your take on that because I was a little bit confused.
Yeah, I almost never play him just because the minutes aren't consistent even when guys are out. So I'm kind of fine just not getting there. Torian, I'll double check this. I thought we saw Underdog post that Levine was going to be available today, though. But we'll double check on that. Only another one lineup. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I didn't play much yesterday, but I know Nas burnt a lot of people. Sengun is out from power. So yeah, adding to that value is going to be Steven Adams, Landell out as well. Feel even better about it. Adams, even if he plays 24 to 26 minutes, type of point per minute producer you're definitely going to want in your lineup. So that does make things interesting now in terms of building, especially on FanDuel where you only have one center spot. But let's keep going here. Let's get into that Milwaukee OKC game. This is one of the more important games on the slate in terms of injury news because we already know Giannis is going to be out. I'm just trying to find it on the injury report. Dame is out as well. Brook Lopez is questionable. I'd be surprised if he played, but who knows? We'll know soon. Chris Middleton out. Bobby Portis doubtful as well. Milwaukee is super, super thin tonight. Again, this is a matchup with OKC. OKC is a bit banged up, but if you're worried about blowout, I think some of these young guys are going to get run here no matter what. So Ryan Rollins, especially, I think is a great play. The field is totally getting to him. Him and AJ Green, definitely, I think both of our favorites here in terms of value. You could mix in the Andre Jacksons of the world. If Lopez is in, I don't know that I want to use the center spot on him. But Gary Trent, if he starts, I mean, I don't know. There's some decent secondary options here, but to me, it's Rollins is like a top tier, great value play, and Green kind of a second tier, really, really solid. Jayhawk, I know we've talked about them a bit off air, but how are you handling the Bucks?
Yeah, so obviously Damon and Giannis out here, huge news. Ryan Rollins, obviously no brainer here. 70% on both sides. Pretty much a plug and play with him. Mentioned AJ Green already. Think he looks awesome. And you mentioned that. I think kind of similar to Dallas yesterday. Really want to target the young guys, just because these guys probably played through blowout. So the guys like Gary Trent, DeLone Wright, I just don't think I love more veterans. Um, so I think I really want to target the young guys here.
Yep, I'm with you. Interesting bit of news we did just get. Eason and Tate are going to start for Sangoon and Van Fleet today. So does that mean Adams is not starting? That is certainly something. We're
Ethan's.
going to have to talk about that. Yeah, Eason, Sangoon. Yeah, it makes me like Easton a lot more. Jay Sean Tate did show us that he can play 20 minutes. He did it against Atlanta last week. I was hoping we get to Adams though, but now I'm pumping the brakes. I think we need some time for the model to catch up. But any first take on what to do with Houston now that Adams might not be starting?
Yeah, definitely more interest in Tari Eason. And then Jason
Mhm.
Tate, I don't think it changes too much for me. I don't know, man. He just seems a little bit fishy, but I don't know.
Yeah, he always burns me. I've almost never play him, and then I was on the day that he went off, and I said I wasn't going to get to him. But yeah, a little bit bitter off of that one. But you got to have a short memory in this stuff. But going over to the OKC side of things, they are missing a few key pieces. So no Jalen Williams, Cason Wallace, AJ Mitchell, obviously Chet Holmgren or Alex Caruso for them. With Williams out, especially, that's going to increase the usage for SGA. I mean, he sees massive boost when Jalen's off the floor this season. Wiggins coming off the best game of his career. Saw the price go up, but he still looks pretty damn good here. Hartenstein in a soft matchup with Milwaukee banged up, and then Dort, Joe, etc. Probably going to be valuable. There is some blowout risk here, obviously. I do think there's a chance it's a little bit more competitive because some of these guys are out, but I don't know. Hartenstein, SGA, just running pick and roll alone with Dort and they're playing defense. This game probably does still blow out, but we've known SGA to get there in three quarters. I think with the extra usage, you can get to him a lot here and feel good about it, especially if you don't want to use the center spots and you're going down for value. Wiggins, I'm fine with. I do think he's a little bit overowned, but at the same time, tough to argue with him. He is the type of player who maybe plays regardless of the way this game plays out. Could get some runner to blow out. Those are the two I have the most interest in. Isaiah Joe probably third for me. But how are you handling OKC? Kind of a tricky situation against the banged up Bucks team.
Yeah, man, man, was I wrong on Aaron Wiggins the other day? That dude looked like prime Kobe Bryant out there with the 3 pointers. But yeah, I
Ridiculous.
mean, SGA here, I think he looks fine. Obviously fantastic spend up. The one concern you mentioned it is blowout here, but he still can get there in 3 quarters, like you mentioned. And then Wiggins, I don't know what to do here. I think he's probably going to be a little bit overowned because of
Yeah.
his legacy game the other night. But I mean, he still projects pretty good here, especially if he starts. And they obviously showed they will play him through blowout. So if he
Hmm.
plays through blowout once again, he's probably going to project pretty good. So fine with Wiggins. And then Isaiah Joe, man, another guy I missed on the other night. I don't know what to do with him. They
Hmm.
showed they don't want to play him through blowout, so he could be riskier. But it's a good matchup, so I'll probably leave him in the pool. But really like SGA, like Wiggins. Those are probably my two picks.
Yeah, I tend to agree. And again, I think Joe, I don't know if they're always going to pull him in blowouts, but I don't know. Looking at the roster right now, I mean, they do need minutes out of a lot of these guys. So I feel a little bit better than usual. But at the same time, so many games to choose from tonight. If you don't feel good about something, it's probably wise to just go somewhere else. You do have the options. Another game at 8 o'clock here. We get the Spurs taking on the Grizzlies. On the San Antonio side of things, we have no Harrison Ingram. He is with the G League. But more importantly, Victor Wembanyama is listed as questionable. So I don't know whether we can look too deeply into this. I don't know if he went through shoot around or what. I was having trouble getting to him on tonight's slate, given Jokic is kind of in a similar price range. But yeah, if he's in, obviously Wemby at low ownership is going to be somewhat appealing. They did trade for De'Aaron Fox. I don't think Fox is going to be available tonight, which means we're probably going to see Stephen Cassell start again. Next to Chris Paul, I do think Castle's the more interesting guard play here for a little bit of a discount. Not much else I'm interested in. I know Harrison Barnes has had some huge games lately. I think he's going to come back down to earth now. Very streaky player. But yeah, it's mostly Castle here. Maybe a little bit of Devin Vassell. If Wemby's in, he's a fine tournament play, but I don't really know if he's going to be in or not. I kind of think he plays. I don't know if you have a hunch on that one, Jayhawk, but I love your take there and just follow that up with how you're handling the Spurs.
Yeah, so my kind of take here is I think he probably plays. He did sit out last game. So I think he probably plays here, and he's been super good against Memphis historically. So I love him at his ownership. I think going
Yeah.
Jokic and Wemby, really solid tournament build. And then I love the Castle Cole. I think he looks great. And assuming, well, with Fox still not playing yet, I think he looks great as ownership. And then Vassell, man, I've been playing this guy, man. Has not been getting there very often, but he's still super cheap on DraftKings. I don't hate going back there. And then what's your take on Chris Paul? Because I've heard like mixed takes across the industry over the past few days. How do you feel about Chris Paul here?
I mean, as far as playing him tonight, like I don't know that we need to where he's priced. Like he's fine, but it's really tough for him to have some huge ceiling game where he kills us playing 30 minutes. As far as like his take on his standing with the team, like I think they can work Fox off ball a little bit, and like Paul's going to be playing limited minutes. They do need his defense at times. It's not like Fox is some great defensive player, so I can see them keeping him on the team. At the same time, if they trade him, I wouldn't be surprised either. But yeah, man, it's going to be interesting. I think the Fox move is more of like a long term thing than win right now this season. But the Spurs are already going to be great. But yeah, I don't know about tonight, man. I just don't think he can kill you in 30 minutes, knock on wood. He could play a few more, but he's going to need like 40 to really kill us on a slate like this where we have so much value.
Yep, agreed. I was kind of just like he was just there for me. So
Yeah, I feel the same. Like if you're landing on him, I think he's fine, but I do like the discount for Castle. Probably has a little bit more of an upside. As far as Memphis goes, another team with major injuries. No Desmond Bain. Brandon Clark is questionable. Zach Edey is available. John Morant still questionable though. Marcus Smart and Vince Williams are getting close to being back. They are not back yet. But yeah, obviously the big news here is going to be Ja. With Bain already out, I think Ja and Jackson are going to look good if Ja is in. Kennard could start next to John Morant, in which case I'm fine going to him as value in that Bain spot. Obviously, prefer Morant to be out if I'm going to Kennard, but the price didn't come up as much as it could. So I do prefer him over like a Jalen Wells. The bench has been tricky. I mean, Aldama's flashed upside, as has Clark, but I don't know that I want to trust anything off the bench unless we do get word that Jaw's out. But yeah, for now, I do really like Jared Jackson. Obviously, not the best spot against Wemby if Wemby's in, but at his price looks great. And then Kennard looks good either way. Much better if Morant's out. Fine with a little bit of Morant if he's in, but so many good guards on this slate. Kind of tricky to get to him now. 240 point total though, Jayhawk. How are you going to handle these Memphis Grizzlies?
yep, 240 total. I think this is the great game overall to target. And I agree. I think Jaren Jackson, assuming well, either way, if Jaw plays or if he doesn't, looks great here. I think you can play Jaren and Wemby together. I think it's just a great game environment. So love Jaren. And then Jaw, I think is fine. I don't know. He looks like at 1%, 5%. He's a GPP play. I think I don't love it. And then I love the Luke Kennard call, especially if Jaw sits way too cheap. He probably runs the point here. Obviously, Scotty backing him up. So love Luke Kennard, especially if Jaw sits here.
Yeah, Scotty finally had a huge game, but I'd still prefer Kennard in almost any scenario right now between the two. It's not a huge price discrepancy either, so definitely with you on that. Quick question: are you getting into any Zach Edey here if Wemby's in? Obviously, not the best matchup. He's kind of struggled against him, but he seems to be turning a corner in terms of upside. Is he a tournament play for you?
Yeah, so unfortunately, I am not the ED whisperer. That would be other people in our Discord. But
Yeah, he's tough.
at 0%, At 0%, I think he's fine. They probably will need his size out there, especially if Jaren does get in foul trouble. So I don't hate it. If you wanted to mix him in, like 1%, 2%, I think it's fine.
Yeah, I mean he's had issues with one beat so far, but again, we're dealing with small amount of data. Maybe people are overreacting to that. That's why we're getting him at 0%. So not the craziest tournament play. Not something I'm considering core or anything like that. But we got a couple 9 o'clock games here now to wrap up the DK slate. We got the Pacers taking on the Jazz. Um, Pretty high total here in this one as well. 242 points. On the Indiana side, Miles Turner is questionable. Another guy in the trade block right now. Isaiah Jackson, his backup, is out though, which makes this interesting, as is James Wiseman. So Pacers are pretty much healthy otherwise. But yeah, what is the depth chart going to look like here? It's Thomas Bryant, right? If Turner's out, he's going to become an excellent center option. We've seen Toppin get more minutes whenever the front court's thin. Hasn't gone over 20 in a while. Maybe we do see that here tonight. But great matchup here against Utah. I do like Halliburton. He has been playing better on the road. Maybe it's because he's engaged now, kind of calming down, it seems. Not to speculate too much on that, but I do like him. I will mention Matherin, another player who's been in trade talks. Not that that matters too much tonight. Not really interested in him, but I do like Siakam here, kind of either way. Definitely overproducing the salary point on both sites, especially on DK, where he's only 7,600. I really, really do like him over there. But yeah, fine with Hallie Siakam regardless. If Turner's in, he's okay. But if he's out, I think Thomas Bryant becomes one of the better value plays on the board. How are you going to handle these Pacers?
Yep. So I think on paper, this is a pretty dang good spot here for Indiana. Obviously, going up against, excuse me, going up against Utah here. Yeah, I think Siakam probably too cheap here once again on DraftKings, 7,600. Like that shot there, and then yeah, man, Thomas Bryant. If Turner did sit, would become I think a smash value play. 3,200 would love him, and then I even think Obi Toppin would look better as well. 3,700. I think you can mix him into the value category as well.
Yeah, they're just so thin in the front court right now. And again, I don't love that Toppin's minutes have been limited, um, but he's capable of playing more. I think he's healthy at this point. Over on the Utah side of things, taking a look at their injury report, Mo Bamba, they traded for him and cut him. It's kind of funny he's even on the injury report. Hitchafino over in the trade is unavailable. Hendricks out. Sexton is available. Cody Williams is out. So this team's actually healthier than they have been in a while, which usually means it's kind of tough to get to them for fantasy. Collins getting a lot of love, though. I do think he's a little bit underpriced for what he's capable of. Probably the one Jazz player I have interest in. At the same time, he is pretty popular, so don't know that we need to get there. But they have Collier, Sexton, Clarkson, George all available. Tough to get to any of these guards. I don't mind mixing in some Collins at a thin power forward position. Otherwise, not much Utah for me tonight. How about you, Jayhawk?
Yeah, so Utah, very tough team here. John Collins, I think he's fine. I wasn't getting there a ton, but power forward you mentioned isn't the greatest position today on DK, so I think he's fine. Good matchup. So the more I think about it, he's probably a pretty good play. Um, but other than that, center I just think is going to be loaded tonight. So I'm
Oh.
probably off Kessler and the rest of these guys here.
Yeah, man, I'm totally with you on that. We did just get word. I thought I saw something. Yeah, Reed and Edwards are going to be available for the Timberwolves, which is probably a good thing. I think we got enough value in some of these other spots. But let's move into this last 9 o'clock game now. Again, we will touch on the 10 o'clock games on FanDuel. This is the last one over on DraftKings. We have the Pelicans taking on the Nuggets. Pretty interesting spot here. 242 point total. Relatively widespread, but the Pels do have a lot of their good pieces here. So Murray's out with the Achilles rupture. Sucks. Going to be out for the season. Herbert Jones is out. Brandon Ingram's out as well. Jordan Hawkins was questionable. He is available coming off an illness. And Daniel Tice is out as well. So they do have Zion here, which is obviously good for them. Hawkins is available as well. Trey Murphy, to me, my favorite play on both sites for the Pelicans. I really like him over on DK. Increased usage with Murray out, even with Zion available. I do think if this game stays close, he's probably a big reason for it. And then Jose Alvarado, probably going to get the start at point guard here. The price is up on him, as this was obvious given the I don't know, the devastating nature of Murray's injury, everyone knew he was going to be out for a while. So both sides did get him priced up to 4,800. Still, I do think he's appealing. Kind of surprised he's not more popular on DK. Again, you could kind of use him as a piece to maneuver around if you're waiting on some of this late news in the Utah Indiana game. I really like Trey here. He's like a core play for me on DK, where he's cheaper than he is on FanDuel. Surprised he's not more popular. But I do like Alvarado as value as well. Again, popular on FanDuel, where you get extra points for the stocks, not so much over on DraftKings. Fine play on both sides, in my opinion, though. But yeah, how are you handling New Orleans? And on DK Zion, too, man, feels a little bit cheap, even with limited minutes. Like, I do think I want to get to some Pelicans. How about you?
Yeah, I think you nailed it here. I think this is kind of my hot take. I think New Orleans is like the most under-owned team on the slate here. And this
Love
is
it.
just from watching Nuggets basketball. The Nuggets do not play defense. It doesn't matter if Christian Brown's getting 4 steals a game. They're still bad. I think this game plays super close. And we've seen Murphy in the past crush Denver. I'm pretty sure he had like 5 threes before getting hurt in the last matchup against them. So love that Murphy shout. And then I think Jose and CJ, Jose Alvarado and CJ
Yep.
McCollum, both look good. They can both shoot the ball from the 3 point line. Nuggets can't guard the three either. They can't guard anything. So I think both those guys look great in tournaments. And then Zion, he keeps playing limited minutes, but man, he's been smashing his minutes. So I think you
Mhm.
got to leave him in the pool here, even against the Nuggets here. So yeah, I think all these guys look great, but love Murphy and then Alvarado for now. I think looks like a pretty good play as well.
Yeah, man. Honestly, I'm not too concerned about the blowout here. You mentioned it. Denver does tend to play pretty close to the teams they're facing. And with Russell Westbrook out of the lineup, that offense, if you remember, before they moved Russ into the lineup to start the season, they were really struggling. So it's going to be interesting to see how they kind of adapt. And again, Aaron Gordon, questionable on the other side here. So Gordon was going to be one of the better plays on the slate in terms of value. He's questionable, and that was a late questionable tag, which usually tells us he's going to be out. If he's in, still good. If he's out, we're gonna have to see if we're just getting more Porter, Brown, Murray, Jokic. No Russell Westbrook or Peyton Watson, who's someone we usually turn to with Gordon out. No Vlatko Kankar either. So they're thin tonight for sure. I guess Strother would maybe be the guy off the bench who gets a little bit of extra run. Tough for me to trust him unless you're kind of stuck there because the news didn't break the way you wanted it to late. But yeah, man, I think if Gordon's in, he's great. But if he's out, Brown, Murray, Porter look great, and Jokic is Jokic. If you can afford him, I think you want to get him into your lives tonight for sure, especially on DK where you can play two centers. But how are you handling Denver here?
Yeah, we were talking pre-stream. I just think this is such a great Nikola Jokic spot. Been attacking New Orleans all year against them in the interior. I'm probably going to be double the field, if not triple on Jokic. I'm just playing him here. I'm taking a hard stand. Love
Love it.
Jokic. And then MPJ, both sides. I think he looks great. Good price point, good matchup. So love MPJ. And then I think Christian Brown, he's finally starting to get warm, man. Potentially no AG tonight. I think Christian Brown looks great on both sides too. So love him. And then I wanted to hear your take on Jamal Murray because he was kind of getting pinched for me. But if you have a strong take here, I mean, I'd be interested in getting some more.
Well, I know you, and I know you're probably playing, I don't know, a handful of lineups tonight. You're going to have Jokic in most of them. I'd say the lineups without him, you probably go to Murray on DK because he's shown that
Yeah.
he has that 60-point upside, and especially with Gordon out, maybe extra usage for him goes a really long way. So maybe they do everything they can to kind of slow Jokic down, which is the scenario in which Murray would probably hit his ceiling. If you're getting to Jokic, though, I don't know that you need to jam them in the same lineup. I wouldn't argue with it, but there are so many good guards tonight. So I think it's a good kind of like I don't know, almost a hedge like on these Nuggets. Like if you don't have Jokic, go to Murray a little bit more. But yeah, I don't think it's something you have to do. But 7,400 for some of the games he's been having lately definitely feels too cheap. He's over 50 fantasy points in two of his last three. Um, but yeah, I do like the Brown call, especially as far as value goes. I think I trust him point per dollar even more than Michael Porter, kind of given Porter's inconsistency shooting. Um, but yeah, man, definitely a great spot. Definitely something to keep an eye on. But I'm with you. I think all these starters look good here. Probably wouldn't want too many in one lineup. But one of the higher
Yeah.
totals, 242. So wouldn't argue with it either.
Yep. And then
Uh,
real quickly to cover AG, if he doesn't play here, I think we bump all these guys, all the starters even more.
Yes, and I will say, of all the guys who could potentially start for him, I would hope it would be Dario Saric, because if Saric starts, I do think he's going to be pretty appealing as a value play. I don't think they would put Najee next to Joker. It could be Strother, and they just move Porter Jr. down to the four. But against Zion, I think maybe it's a Dario Saric night, so keep an eye on that. Not seeing him projected as a starter anywhere right now. I think a lot of sites still have Gordon in, but definitely something to keep an eye on. Um, all right, guys, we are making great time. I will get to chat, but I want to just rip through these last two games here. These are on FanDuel only. We got the Suns taking on the Blazers. We're going to group these teams together just for the sake of time. I'm going to pull up Suns and the Blazers, talk through the injury report, and then I'll throw it over to Jayhawk. They're next to each other in terms of alphabetical order. Okay, so Suns Blazers here. Yeah, Jalen Bridges, Ty Washington out for the Suns, so nothing to talk about. Dewop Reith, Tybal, Walker, Williams. Williams is questionable. The rest of those guys I listed are out for Portland. So again, two teams that are pretty healthy. You can't play them on DK. On FanDuel, Booker's getting a little bit of love, as is Durant. I don't really think there's anything in this game we're rushing to. Again, on a slate with so many injuries and so much increased opportunity for some of these guys, it's just tough to get to these healthy teams. So yeah, Suns, Blazers. I mean, you could play the Stars, but other than that, I'm really not interested in much. How about you in this game?
Yeah. So overall here, not much. I think my favorites would probably be Booker and Katie. Obviously, the chalkiest ones here, but yeah, pretty tough. Pretty tough to say. And these guys are must. Maybe DeAndre Ayton on the
Yeah,
Portland side, but I don't love it necessarily.
yeah, he's kind of gotten up for some of these games against his former team, which is funny. I remember Booker when they played last year was like, it's too bad he can't play like that every game. Total jab at him. But yeah, eight would probably be the one Blazer I'd have much interest in. All right, let's do the same for this other game here. We got Golden State taking on Orlando, and I will lead with this. This is the lowest total on the slate, just 209.5 points. So I know people love to have these late night hammers, things like that, but this is a tough game to get to right now. But yeah, taking a look at the injury report here, Suggs is doubtful. Still no Mo Wagner, but the Magic are getting healthy. Over on the Warriors side of things, they are getting healed back, and Draymond is back for the first time in a long time here. Jonathan Kuminga is still out, but they're healthy otherwise. So again, two teams in this late window, low total, they're healthy. I think as the minutes come up for Wagner, he's fine, as is Banchero. I prefer Banchero at lower ownership out of the two. But they're both good plays here. Steph is Steph. I wouldn't argue with getting to him. But again, two teams getting healthier. Prices haven't come down yet as much as they need to. Pretty fine, just not getting much of this one. How about you, Jayhawk?
Yeah, super low total here. Looks like Franz Wagner picking up some steam here on FanDuel. I just don't like the total. I don't like this game environment. I I'm pretty close. If I was playing on FanDuel, I might just cross this game off.
Yeah,
Maybe that's
I
a
wouldn't
cold
argue.
take.
No, I'm with it, man. I mean, other than Wagner's probably just getting love because forward's tough to fill. Really nothing too appealing there. So let me take a quick look at chat. I think we do have time for a quick dummy, guys. We'll kind of give you our favorite plays. Genesee here, Adams or Jokic. I mean, if Adams isn't starting, it's definitely Jokic on FanDuel. Wiggins went big last time. Yeah, for OKC, definitely play him. Just keep an eye on that. Spread jump for Milwaukee, OKC. Definitely some blowout risk there. We do think Rollins is probably safe regardless. Yeah, Jose, never use DK or FanDuel for injury news. Just check the Underdog Twitter, Underdog Fantasy NBA's Twitter. I don't mind plugging that. It's the best place to go for news. They pull all the beat writers together. How to use the model to build a core of players. Courtney, the best way to do it, start with ownership just to see where the kind of field is getting. Then sort by value. If something is popular and scoring is good value, usually those are kind of core plays. Then you can sort by OF index. Those are kind of ratings in terms of raw point upside. Higher ownership is where the field's going. If you can find something comparable for lower owned, that's where you want to get different. We do prefer to eat chalk on value than we do some of the payups because obviously if value kills, it's only a small percentage of your lineup. Kenrich Williams, Ben, eh, I don't know. He's a vet, so in a blowout, I don't think he gets much run. Any Kenrich Williams love for you, Jayhawk?
Yeah, I don't know, man. He's fine. I think I'd rather play Aaron Wiggins, who's obviously blowout proof.
Yeah, I'm with that. I definitely prefer Wiggins. Cal saying we could see a repeat of the Cavs versus Mav. Yeah, wouldn't surprise me. What's our projection on Delon? Pull it right up for you, man. We got him for 19 minutes right now. Um, He's double digit in value, but he's not going to be on the first couple pages tonight, so I don't know that we get to him. If he starts, though, viable for sure. Who's the second best center besides Nuggets today? In terms of raw point upside, I'm guessing it's Wemby if he's in. I mean, I don't know. I really like Mark Williams on both sites. I really like a Kongwu if you don't want to pay up. Any centers jumping out at you, Jayhawk?
Wemby for sure. I guess Joval probably projects pretty good, but I think we're both a little bit hesitant of his minutes.
Yeah, I'm with that. Yeah, late games. I mean, I don't know. Delon's wrong tonight. Big J taking a play out of Powers' book with the pun there. Love to see it. Yeah, Delon right. It seems like people are getting to him now. Maybe I refreshed the model. His minutes have come up. I'll double check. Played Boston instead of Alvarado last time. My question there would be: was Hawkins in that game? I'm not sure. Hawkins being out or Hawkins being back does cut into Boston a little. And yeah, Power following that up with Hawkins is in. Again, ripping through these guys. Ayton and Phoenix we talked about. Josh still a game time decision. Power saying he's the dummy tonight. And yeah, no Kenrich Williams for Jayhawk or Power either. Jayhawk. Let's do a quick dummy build here. Looking at ownership, I mean, we're starting with Rollins, probably some of Denver. Do you want to go Rollins Green and then just see how much
Let's do it.
Denver we want to get to? Yeah, I
Jokic.
like Rollins.
I'm not letting us not get Jokic in there.
Yeah, I'm fine. DraftKings wants to know my location. Sure. AJ Green. Okay, I'm with it. Let's go Joker. If Aaron Gordon's in, I think he's the play, but let's assume he's out. Let's just get Braun in there now.
I like it.
All right. Um, where else we going? I mean, I like
Ooh,
Amon, but against New York, I want Trey Murphy as a run back for all that Denver.
I like it.
Nice, dude.
I was
Feel
gonna
free
I
to
was gonna
go
mention
ahead.
Tari Eason too. I don't know what his ownership's gonna be, but I think he looks super good in tournaments.
Yeah, especially a power forward. It's kind of tough to fill. We're still left with
Yeah.
6,400 per. I do think we probably want to play two centers. Um, I don't know. I do really like a Kongwu. I know you might say Joe Val. I would love to not go to Joe
Hmm.
Val. I mean, he is the upside, but Durant, a Kongwu, Gobert, any of these guys jumping out at you?
I don't
Um,
hate the Como call, but we also I would say like Thomas Bryant if we knew
oh
uh
yeah,
Miles Turner would be out. But yeah,
yeah.
Como's
If
fine.
Turner's out, it's Thomas Bryant, and then you're going to be left with 9,700. So if you could lock in something late, the issue is like all these guys are in the early games. I was gonna say if we can go with something in the 9K range, um, then yeah, just make
Let's
sure you're set up for that. If Turner's in, you obviously don't want to be playing Bryant. For now, let's go with Kongwu just to kind of round this out.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and yeah, I mean, we got DeRozan there. Kuzma if Pool's out for cheap. These two look good. I think DeRozan's probably too cheap. So we did just get where that pool is in from Power 2. So good timing on that one. We made the right call going to Rosen. But yeah, Jayhawk, obviously everyone, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Check out the links in the description below. For just $7, you get access to us in Discord. You get access to the model here. We have a lineup builder, just a ton of great players in our Discord, always helping each other out. And yeah, are you on Discord duty today or is it Smitty or Chuck or
I think it's me. You're gonna hear a lot of Nikola Jokic in there. So if you don't like
nice?
Jokic, I do not recommend getting him.
Yeah, well, maybe we'll get Jokic out of the way first. But yeah, guys, definitely sign up, and we definitely appreciate you. Keep an eye on news and lineups tonight. Definitely matters in a big way. But yeah, let's crush it. Have fun. Good luck, and hopefully you see you at the top of leaderboards.